Hello my dear students, welcome to Computer Science Department. I, Sushma Viraktamat, will be handling the subject Computer Science for this academic year. I do share my department with my colleague Mr. Halima Sheikh. So, in this video class, let us discuss what are the different chapters we are going to discuss for this PU first year. Before we begin, the theory part will have the total marks as 70 and the practicals will have the total marks as 30. So 70 plus 30, the total marks will be around 100 marks. Now we shall see, we have 4 different units: Unit A, Unit B, Unit C and Unit D. Under Unit A, we are going to discuss the different chapters. The first chapter is Overview of Computers. For this chapter, the total weightage is given as 8 marks. Input, output and memory units, total weightage is 6 marks. Next chapter is data representation. The total weightage here is 8 marks. Next we have software concepts. The total weightage given for this chapter would be 5 marks. So these are the various chapters which we are going to discuss under the Unit A, that is Fundamentals of Computers. Let us move on to the next unit, that is Unit B. Under this unit, we are going to discuss problem solving methodology chapter, which it consists of total weightage as 11 marks. Next we have Unit C, that is programming in C++. Here we are going to discuss the OOPS concepts, that is object oriented concepts. Total weightage is 2 marks. Introduction to C++, the total weightage is here 9 marks. The data types chapter, the total weightage is 2 marks. Input output operators, the total weightage here is 4 marks. And control statements, we have 11 marks. Next we have the arrays chapter, total weightage is 9 marks. Functions we are having, that is total weightage is 2 marks. User defined functions we are having, the total weightage is 6, and the last chapter we are going to discuss under this unit would be structures. The total weightage here is 3 marks. Now let us see the last unit, that is Unit D. The elementary concepts of, we are going to discuss about word processing. Total weightage here is 3 marks. Spreadsheet is around 11 marks we are having. Then last chapter we are going to discuss about web designing, which is 5 marks. So here in total we have 17 chapters to be discussed in this PU first year. Now in this class we are going to begin with Unit A, that is Fundamentals of Computer. Under this chapter we are going to discuss the first chapter, that is Overview of Computers. So this is contributing 8 marks overall. Okay, now let us begin. So what is a computer? Okay, so computer is an automatic electronic machine that can store, recall and process the data. So why we call this computer to be as an electronic machine? Because the computer makes use of motherboard inside this particular CPU. The CPU is nothing but it stands for Central Processing Unit. Okay. Now this motherboard which has been placed in this particular CPU is made up of various electronic components, and it also makes use of electricity in order to operate. So we call the computer as an electronic machine. Alright. Then it allows, as we know that it's an electronic machine that can store, recall and process the data I said. So what is this? What do you mean by store? That means it allows you to store whatever the work you have done. So the computer will allow you to save your document, files, okay, by providing the save option so that you can store your document for the later purpose. Then what is the term recall? Recall is nothing but it allows you to recall the work whatever you have been saved. See, the document which you have created some days before, the computer will help you to allowed to open that particular document whenever you require. So this process we call it as recalling. The next what we used is, it also helps us to process the data. What is processing? Processing the data in the sense the computer has the ability to accept the input, then perform the necessary calculations onto the data, and then produce the output. So therefore, we have the definition for the computer as it's an automatic electronic machine that can store, recall and process the data. So here is an different parts of the computer system. The CPU, we call it as the brain of computer system. Now CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. Next we have the output device, that is monitor. This is output device because we can see the output through the monitor. Next we have the mouse and the keyboard. So these two are the input devices. Why we call these as input devices? Because with the help of mouse and keyboard we can enter the data into the computer system. So I hope you are clear with definition of computer. So let me show here. What is the definition? As I said, it's an automatic electronic machine that can store, recall and process the data. Apart from this, the computer can perform any complex calculations according to the set of instructions or the programs. That means what? Computer cannot operate by itself and unless and until the programmer gives some instructions. So the programmers has to give some specific instructions in order to perform the task. As per the given instructions, the computer will perform the task for you. Irrespective of any calculations, the computer will perform based upon only on the given set of instructions or the programs you can refer. Okay, now before we proceed, let us understand some of the terminologies. Okay, so herein, what is data and what is information, and whether the data and information are the same? No, the data and information are the two different terminologies from each other. Let us see what is the data is. The data is, it is the collection of unprocessed data items, such as you can say the text, the numbers, images, audio or video file. Or you can even refer the data to be as the collection of raw data items such as the facts, figures, statistics, which has to be processed. Such kinds of information we actually refer to as a data. So as I said, data is unprocessed items. What do you mean by unprocessed items? Say for an example, if I say Rahul and 55. When I say Rahul 55, that means what information you are getting out of this one? Nothing, right? Rahul, by looking at the name Rahul, you can understand it is a name. But what about 55? It might be his weight. It might be his age, isn't it? So that acts as an raw facts or the figures which has to be processed. So such kinds of information which is not processed, which is unprocessed items. Now that data might be the text, it might be the numbers, it might be the image, okay, which might be audio or video file. Then we can say that it is a data. Next terminology what we have to discuss is, what is information? Information is nothing but the computer processed data. We refer it as an information. Now this particular information will provide you the meaningful information, so that based on that the people can take some future decisions onto that particular information. Then such processed data, computer processed data, we actually refer it as an information. Say for an example, I can take the name as Satish. Okay, 15. When I say this, Satish and 15, now this becomes the raw data. But when I give this input data to the computer, computer will process the data and then it will provide me the information as the name is equal to Satish. Okay, age is equal to 15. See, when it is a data as Satish and 15. 15 could be the height, 15 could be the weight, 15 could be the age. So that time it was a raw data. But once the computer will process, computer will going to give you the information that name is equal to Satish and age is equal to 15. Now this becomes an useful information. So the computer process data, we actually refer it as an information. Clear? Next we are going to discuss about hardware and software. We all know, students, the computers work through the interaction between the hardware and software. Then what is hardware and what is software? Let us see its definition. So here comes the list of hardware devices. So before we begin, let us see the definition of what is a hardware. The parts of the computer that you can touch and feel are being referred to as an hardware. Or you can even say that the physical components of the computer are said to be as the hardware devices. In a previous image in the computer system, therein the CPU, the monitor, the mouse, the keyboard, all were to be considered as a hardware devices. Then what is the functionality of this hardware devices is, this hardware devices actually translates the instructions and performs the calculations. So some of the most commonly used hardware devices could be the keyboard, mouse, monitor, speakers, printers, okay, joystick, scanner, microphone. You can see here, this is a scanner, printer, we have the CPU, okay, this is optical disk drive where you can place a CD, hard disk drive we are having here. So totally we can call it as a system unit, okay, and then we have the monitor here, this, okay, and we have webcam, speakers, mouse, keyboard, microphone we are having, USB flash drive, that is USB is what, it's a pen drive, that is universal serial bus, USB means, okay, we have the memory cards here, okay, we have external hard disk, we have the modem, we have the scanner. So all these are the different examples for the hardware devices, okay. So here is a slide about the hardware. So therefore, hardware refers to the parts of the computer that you can see and touch, or you can easily refer them. Those are the physical components of the computer that would translate the instructions and performs the calculations for you. See, whenever you write any, so there will be a question, what is a hardware? So you need to write the definition and you need to give at least 2 examples of hardware devices. It could be any examples, okay. Now let us proceed. What is a software then? Software is nothing but it is the set of instructions or the program that tell the hardware what to do. That means the instructions, see, the computer, as I said, will work through the interaction between the hardware and software. So softwares are those set of instructions which will give the instructions to the hardware devices what functionality they have to perform. That is what is the software. So herein we have 2 categories of software. The first category is the application software and the system software. So let us see now what is the system software and the application software. Now let us see what is system software. System software consists of the programs that controls or maintains the operations of the computer and its devices. It is the responsibility of the system software which maintains the overall operations of the computer. Therefore, this system software will act as an interface between the user and the application software. Say for an example, what are the examples for the system software? Like operating system. Operating system is the one which will maintain the operations of the computer system. Okay, the operating systems like Windows XP, Windows 2000, Windows 10, Linux, Unix, Sun Solaris, okay, MS-DOS. So these are the few of the examples of system software. So system software is nothing but those consist of set of programs that would control the operations of your computer system. Then what is an application software? Application software is again, it also consists of programs only, but they are designed to make the users more productive and assist them with their own personal task. So application software is very much helpful for the users in order to accomplish their own personal task. Like say for an example, Microsoft Office, Adobe Reader, VLC Media Player, Chrome, Mozilla, all these are the different application software that are helping the users in order to fulfill their requirements. But whereas the system software is a one, they are also set of programs, but they are those programs which will maintain your overall computer system. I hope you are able to understand the difference, right? Now, so these are the definitions of the system software and the application software. The definitions are clear. Now let us move on to the next topic. What are the different characteristics of computer? So the different characteristics of computer are speed, memory, storage, accuracy, versatility, automation, diligence, and cost effective. Now let us discuss one by one characteristics of computer. So what exactly the speed is? See, it is the ability of the computer to get the answers fast enough so that one has time to take action. So as we know, the computer is an electronic machine. So it uses the electrical pulses. The computer makes use of electrical pulses which are very high speed in order to perform the operation. That means what? Its internal processing speed will be very high. So the units of speed or the computer processing the instructions, that is in terms of microseconds, nanoseconds and the picoseconds. That means what? The computer is such a fast, in order to process your instructions, wherein its speed is being calculated in terms of microseconds, nanoseconds and the picoseconds here. So what is the microseconds? Microseconds is nothing but 1 millionth of a second. That is 10 raised to minus 6 of a second. Whereas the what is nanosecond is, it is the 1 billionth of a second. Okay, it's a nanosecond is 1 billionth of a second. That is 10 raised to minus 9 of a second. Okay, and what is a picosecond? Picosecond is nothing but it's a 1 trillionth of a second. See, such a fast the computer's internal speed will be. So it is the ability for the computer to get the answers fast enough, okay, so that one can take the, has the time to take the decision. See, for an example, one powerful computer systems can add two 18 digits numbers just in 300 to 400 nanoseconds. Okay, suppose if we have thousands of records, then I can just sort them in either ascending or the descending order just in fraction of second. So this is the reason why the computer has become more popular than manual processing of data, because of its speed. Okay, let us move on to the next characteristic, that is memory. So here in memory, the computer can store its data in primary memory called as RAM, which is used to store the data temporarily. That means what? The computer have the ability to store the data temporarily, called as the main memory also we can refer, or we can even refer it as RAM. RAM stand for random access memory. That means what? The computer system can store the data until the computer is on. Temporarily, in the sense, until the computer is on, your data could be stored. Once the power supply is off, the contents will be erased. Such type of memory we can refer it as an temporary memory. Alright, I'll repeat. The memory, in the sense, the computer will store the information in the main memory, which can also be referred as primary memory. Okay, which can also be referred as an random access memory. It will use to store the data, but the data what you are storing will be temporarily. Temporarily, in the sense, your data, whatever the contents is there in the random access memory will be stored until the computer system is on. Once the computer system is off, the entire contents will be erased. That is what is the memory here. If here in the memory the data is storing temporarily, then there should be something that wherein the data has to be stored permanently. Then we have secondary storage devices. The secondary storage, so once the computer will process your data, see, once if you give the input, the computer will process the data, and if you want those data and instructions to be stored permanently, then we can use the secondary storage devices. So here those secondary storage devices will store your data permanently. Therefore, the secondary storage can also be referred to as an auxiliary devices. So herein the computer memory is usually measured in terms of bits and bytes. Okay, I repeat, the computer memory is being measured in terms of bits and bytes. So what is bits? They are the smallest possible units for the data storage. Alright, so bits are usually been in terms of zeros and ones. Okay, so 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. See, if you want to store your data temporarily, then we can store it in the RAM. If you want to store it in the data permanently, then we can go for the secondary storage devices. I hope the concepts are clear. Now let us discuss the next characteristic, that is accuracy. What is accuracy? See, the computer generated results will be exact without any mistakes with a high rate of consistency. Now let us take an example. Think that I have fed around 1000 records about the student information. Okay, in the 1000 records of students information, I want to know how many students have opted for computer science. Then by applying the filter option easily, okay, and accurately, I can get the number of students opted for CS among the 1000 students without any mistake if I'm using the computer system for the applying for the filter option if I perform. So whereas manually if I sit and start count, I may miss 1 or 2, but if the computer is performing if computer results are being generated by the computer, then it will be much more accurate as well as it will be faster. So that is what is accuracy. Now let us see the next characteristics, that is versatility. Versatility is nothing but the computer can perform almost any kind of task provided the task has to be reduced to the series of logical steps. In the sense what? Say for an example, if I have some complex calculation as 5 plus 6 into 3. So this is my one instructions given to the computer system. Then this 5 plus 6 into 3 automatically it cannot calculate. You need to divide that into the series of instructions. First 6 into 3 has to be divided. No, so first 6 into 5 plus 6 into 3, that we have to divide it into 2 steps actually. First step will be 6 into 3 will be calculated. Then we will add with 5 plus. So 6 into 3 we get 18. So 5 plus 18, the total answer will be generated will be 23. Like this, the computers also, you give almost any kind of task you give it, it will perform any kind of calculations. Even though calculations are complex, it will perform, but we have to see to that the task has to be reduced in the series of steps. It has to be reduced. So step by step the computer will perform the task. That is what is versatility. Next we have the automation. What is this automation? See, once a program is in computer's memory, the instructions will be transferred one after the another to the control unit for the execution purpose. Okay, so the computer will process all those instructions until it meets the last instructions which says to stop the program execution. In the sense where, see, once you give the any instructions to the computer to perform, your instructions will be accepted by the input unit. Through the input unit, it goes to the memory unit. From memory, your first instructions will go to the CPU. That is, the first instructions will go for the control units. The CPU will have the two parts into it, that is control units and the ALU, that is arithmetic and logic unit. So this automation in brief I'll be explaining when I'll be discussing about the block diagram of computer system. All right. So those instructions will so here you can understand the automation clearly. So once you give the input will be stored in the primary storage. From primary storage, the instructions will come to the control unit. The control unit will divide your entire instructions into series of logical steps. That is what is versatility. No matter whatever the task you have given, it will be divided into series of steps. Each one of the steps will be given to this ALU to perform the calculation. So the calculation keeps on continuing. The computer will keeps on processing of your instruction, all the instructions, until it meets the last instruction as stop. Once it encounters as a stop, then the program execution will stop. That is what is automation. I repeat, automation is nothing but once the program is been fed into this computer memory. Now this is a computer memory, primary storage, that is a memory unit as I discussed. So memory unit is a one that will store your data temporarily. Okay, until your computer system is on, it can store your data. What if you want to store the data permanently? Then you can go for the secondary storage devices, right? So as and when you give once the program is in computer memory, all those instructions will be given for the control unit for the processing. The processor, this is entirely processor, that is CPU. The processor will follow all those instructions whatever is been given to perform the calculation, and that instructions will be divided in each step, logical step it will be divided. Those each one of the steps will be given to the processor for the calculations. The processor keeps on performing the calculations until it meets the last instruction to stop. Once it encounters stop, it will stop its execution. This process we usually refer it as an automation. The next characteristics we should discuss is about the diligence. What is this diligence? See, unlike we humans will fall sick after working for so many hours, but the computer doesn't suffer from any of the human traits like tiredness, lack of concentration. So the computer will never have such kinds of any kinds of human traits. So the computer will perform any kinds of complex calculations with the same accuracy and speed as the first. In a sense, maybe in the morning if you have started the computer and you have given around 1000 instructions to perform, so that time whatever the speed it is having, what kind of accuracy it is having, the same accuracy will be followed throughout the day. Like we human beings, morning we may work with a full energy. After sometimes our energy level will be down. So the computer will never ever suffer from such kinds of human traits like tiredness and the lack of concentration. The amount of speed and accuracy it was having at before, the same amount of speed and accuracy it will be having until it end of the day, until you shut down the computer system. It will have the same kind of speed and accuracy. That is what is the diligence. The next we are having the last one characteristic to be discussed, that is cost effectiveness. So cost effectiveness nothing but the computer will reduce the amount of paperwork and human efforts by reducing the cost. So if at all, if manually if we are using, we need manpower, at least 4 to 5 people we need for the work. Okay, instead of that, just one computer with 1 or 2 people, the work would be completed in a faster way, okay, as well as without any mistakes, with a very high rate accuracy we can perform, okay. And then the cost effectiveness will also helping us to reduce the amount of the paperwork, isn't it? So therefore the computer will reduces the amount of paperwork and the human efforts, thereby reducing the cost. So these were the different characteristics we have discussed about the computer. Now let us move on to what are the different functional components of a computer. What are the basic functionality that a computer has to perform? See, the first thing is computer should be capable of accepting the data and program as input. See, whenever you give any kind of input, the computer has to be capable of accepting that data and the program. Program in the sense what? Those are nothing but the set of instructions that has to be performed, that has to be executed by the computer. That is, we call it as an input. So once if it is capable of accepting the data and the program as input, the next step is it has to store the data. Okay, and it can retrieve the data or the program if at all, if it is necessary, whenever if it is necessary. See, might be the document which you have already created few days before. Now you want to open the same document and you want to perform the calculation. So when you try to open that particular document, it has to retrieve you the documents by displaying all the contents in that particular document. So it helps you, it has to accept the data, plus it also help you to store as well as retrieve the data as and when the user or the programmers required. Then once after it stores and retrieves, if at all if any necessary calculations has to be performed, then it has to process the data. How it has to process the data? Based upon the given instruction itself. And then after processing, definitely we will get the useful information out of it, because already we have discussed what is data and what is information. See, whenever you give the input data to the computer system, it will be the raw data. That means the data will be unprocessed. It might be raw facts, figures, or any statisticals or any image file or something. Okay, like this it could be the raw data. After processing happens, we are getting some useful information out of it. Then finally, once it is generating the useful information, then the next thing is it has to be displayed through an output devices in an appropriate way, isn't it? Therefore, the last step is it has to communicate the information as an output. So we usually see that output onto the output devices, that is monitor. So these are the basic functional functional components of a computer that a computer has to perform. Okay, these are the basic functionality that any computer has to perform. One thing is it has to accept the data as the program and as an input. Then it has to store the data, retrieve it as and when it is required, then process the data as per the given instruction and convert it in the information. And once the information is being generated, it has to be communicated the information as an output through the output devices. I hope the concept is clear. So in this video class, we have completed what is a computer, what is data, what is information, what is hardware, what is a software, the different types of software, and we have discussed the different characteristics of computer, and we have completed with the functionalities of a computer. So I hope all the concepts are clear. Students, take care of yourself. Thank you. We shall meet you in the next video class.